Y-junctions are essentially a T-junction, but instead of the joining road being a nice square 90-degree angle to the major road, it's wonky. That can make it far easier for traffic coming from one direction, but a lot more challenging for traffic coming from another direction. I'm going to show you some of the difficulties of dealing with Y-junctions, and then I'm going to show you how you can make them easier. Here is a Y-junction. I'm going to turn right. So, let's get to the end of the road near the line, and let's see who's coming. Oh, well, I've got a seat in my way, and where the seat belt is, the B pillar. If there was a passenger here, even leaning forwards to see, would be nigh on impossible. Luckily, I can see out the back window a bit to see if someone's coming, but if this was a van, I wouldn't be able to do that. No one's coming, I can go. This is the same Y-junction, but this time I'm turning into it. And because of the angle, I can't see very well into it, and also I have to steer back on myself to get in there. It's almost like doing a U-turn just to turn right. That can be quite awkward. It's quite hard to get on my side of the road without cutting over the wrong side of the road as I enter. In the UK, Y-junctions with a joining road which is pointing to the right are harder than Y-junctions with a joining road that's pointing to the left. And that's because we drive on the right-hand side of the car in this country. So if it's pointing to the right, you're actually further away from the end of the road, and you have to try and look through the passenger and the passenger seat to see who's coming from the left. But if it's pointing to the left, you're nearer the end of the road, and it's much easier for you to see. A top tip is to take the Y out of the Y-junction. Instead of following this road at its awkward angle to the end, I'm going to turn it into a T-junction. I'm going to slow down a little bit early, get first gear, check my left mirror here, then square up to the end of the road, so it's like a T-junction. Now I can see both left and right clearly. Very important to have your right signal on, because your angle may make it look like you're turning left. So the right indicator should let people know what you're doing. If you're on the main road and turning into a Y-junction, I recommend you stay as far away from the Y-junction as you can. So I'm going to go over to the left, give myself more room to steer, go very slow, walking speed, and get first. That gives you time to have a good look into the junction, and then steer all the way, and that way you can get into your road without cutting over the wrong side of the road. Going slow gives you time to steer, meaning you can turn the car in less space. Being further from the junction also gives you more space to turn. It's not always possible to turn into a Y-junction without going on the wrong side of the road, and that's because there's not enough space to make the turn. If that's the case like now, what I'll do is I'll let them out first before I try and turn in, giving me room to get into the road. Now I'll go forward as far as I can to get a good look into the road, make sure no one's coming. Now, if someone comes as I'm turning across the wrong side of the road, hopefully they have time to see me doing it and time to let me finish. At Y-junctions, it's quite common for you to have a very misleading position, because you're positioning the car to improve your view, and you're positioning the car to make the awkward turn possible. So it may look like you're going one way when in fact you're intending to go the other way. Therefore, your signal, your indicator, becomes even more important. If you have a misleading position at a Y-junction, be aware of this. Be aware that people may take your position the wrong way, so be cautious, but also signal to help them know which way you're intending to go. Having said that about signalling, if the shape of the junction makes it very clear where you're intending to go, for example, this Y-junction points me strongly left and I'm intending to go left, then there's less need to signal because your position says it all. As is always the case with signalling, you have to use your head. If the signal's helpful, go right ahead and use it. But if it's misleading, it's better not to use it. No signal is better than a misleading signal. This is where the Y-junction can make things easier sometimes. The angle of this road makes it a lot easier for me to turn in. But where someone wins, someone else loses. Well, sometimes it's win-win, but not when it comes to Y-junctions. Here's another example of an awkward Y-junction. I have to go back on myself here, so what I want to do is make sure before I put in, I'm nice and slow in case I have to go on the wrong side of the road. I can check to see if anyone's coming. That way, if I need to go on the wrong side of the road now, I can. If I needed the wrong side of the road and there was people coming, I'd wait until they'd gone first and then I'll have the road to myself. Generally, if you're dealing with a Y-junction that doesn't work for you, and what I mean by that is it points you in the opposite direction to where you want to go, you're going to have to go slowly. You're going to have to be at about walking speed and most likely in first gear. That way you'll have more time to make observations to see if it's safe for you to use both sides of the road if you need to, but also that lower speed will help you make that tighter, awkward turn. On this occasion, the Y-junction is in my favour, so I barely have to slow down at all to make this safe. I can actually do this near enough at the speed limit. If you're turning right onto a main road and you're driving a van or a truck, then it's imperative to be at a 90-degree angle to the main road or you won't be able to see because you have no rear windows. So instead of staying at the angle of this road, what I'm going to do is, as I showed you earlier, I'm going to turn left at the end so that I'm a 90-degree angle to the road. That way both my side windows work and I can see if anyone's coming. Very important in vans and trucks. Well, I hope this video helps you learn a thing or two about Y-junctions. If you think it does, please give it a thumbs up and check out Collingwood and Confused in the description. Collingwood are great if you're learning to drive and want to insure yourself on somebody else's car, because you can do so without affecting the owner's policy. And at the moment, via the link, there's up to 35% off and a £20 Amazon gift card. If you want to insure your own car, check out confused.com, because you fill out one quote form and get loads of quotes back from different insurers to see who's cheapest, and you can change your car on that quote as many times as you like to see how much it costs to insure different cars. It's quite useful if you're shopping for a car. Using the links doesn't cost you anything, but it does support the channel, so thank you very much. Subscribe to get my future videos, and until the next one, cheerio.